Well, for more on all of this, I want to turn now to Bob Cusack in our Washington bureau. Bob is the editor-in-chief of The Hill. So, Bob, I mean, you heard Nancy right there. Does it appear, though, that this strategy is similar to 2013 when Republicans tried to avoid blame for a shutdown by actually making a demand that they knew that Democrats would never be able to support? That didn't work out too well for them. Will this time be any different?
Well, I don't think it's going to be different as far as the blame game. And remember, Democrats in the shutdown just earlier this year, at the beginning of 2018, they asked for the Dreamers. So they asked for something to be attached. Now, this is funding, so this does fit in appropriation sense and a little bit different than the Obamacare situation. But regardless, Rena, Republicans control, for the moment, the House and the Senate and the White House. Now, of course, that's going to change with the House in January. So they haven't been able to deliver Trump his wall. He wanted the wall. It was his #1 campaign promise. Republicans in Congress were kind of ambivalent about it. They didn't make it a top priority. The president is not happy. The president did change his mind and infuriated Republican senators by flip-flopping and saying now he won't sign that clean CR. And I also think it was a miscalculation for House Republicans. They actually got the bill done last night, which was a win, which Trump noted today. They should have passed that bill earlier. Would have given them much more leverage than they have now. So without a doubt, I think we're headed for a shutdown, and I think it's going to last for a while.
It's horrible to hear you say this, Bob. Nancy even said, Mitch McConnell's saying what you're saying is that it seems very likely this is going to happen. But it's coming at a horrible time. There's never a good time for a shutdown. But what's the biggest concern right now if this does, in fact, happen, Bob?
Well, I think it's an embarrassment for both parties. Politically, I don't think there's going to be much of a fallout because the election is still so far off in 2020. But I do think it's going to be bad headlines for the president. Remember, the president is scheduled to go to Mar-a-Lago. Now, he's not going to go today, but will he go while the government is shut down? I think the chances are he probably will go. Maybe he'll go tomorrow, maybe go Sunday. The optics of that are not going to be good. Now, remember, as far as like Homeland Security, people who need to show up for those quote-unquote essential jobs will be showing up. But I do think it's the optics of this in the last days of Republican control of entire Washington. That's a bad look.
It certainly is a bad look. I want to also ask you, in addition to the shutdown we're watching, such big news about the departure of Defense Secretary James Mattis. He was really considered by many to be the last adult in the room. He tried to balance the president's view on the world. Once he leaves, does this mean that we'll see the president possibly escalate his America First policy?
I think so. I mean, the tension between Mattis and Trump over the last couple of years has been significant. You see that in the Bob Woodward book, where Mattis at one point allegedly called Trump, he knows as much as a fifth or sixth grader on North Korea issues. So this, whether it's Afghanistan, whether it's certainly our involvement in Syria, there have been so many differences. I think also sending troops for immigration purposes to the border probably didn't sit well with Mattis. This is amazing, Rena. I mean, this is a Trump appointee who got 98 votes in his confirmation vote. And Democrats praising him, Nancy Pelosi praising him yesterday. There is real concern, both Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, who don't agree on a lot. They're concerned about the Pentagon and where it's going to go under whoever Trump picks right now, because everyone respected Mattis, and soon he's going to be gone.
I got to tell you, I had two friends who went to the Army-Navy game a couple weekends ago who said thunderous applause for Donald Trump when he came. Thunderous applause for him from the crew there. Not surprising. But the only person to get more applause than Donald Trump was James Mattis.
Yeah, that's right. I was watching that game, and I was struck by the applause for Trump, especially in a city that's considered blue. But obviously, the troops respect the commander-in-chief, and that was shown there. I do think that Mattis's resignation letter was a real shot at Trump. He didn't say actual Trump. He just said Mr. President in his letter. And he also said that it was an honor to serve the country, not President Trump.
I want to ask you about Senator Mitch McConnell. He said in his statement about this, particularly distressed that he's resigning due to sharp differences with the president. And he actually went on to say, I urge him to select a leader who shares Secretary Mattis's understanding of these vital principles and his total commitment to America's service members. Why would the president even adhere to that when he clearly didn't see eye to eye with General Mattis?
Well, yeah, he respected Mattis when he came on, and he knew it would be an easy confirmation vote, which it was. I haven't seen Mitch McConnell take a jab like that at the president in a long time, certainly not since he was sworn into office. And McConnell keeps things so close to the vest. He's so frustrated with the president, certainly on Mattis leaving, that he released that letter publicly. That's an extraordinary move for Mitch McConnell, and one you're probably not going to see for quite some time. Remember, Mitch McConnell is up for re-election in 2020. He needs and wants Trump's endorsement. He's probably going to get it, but that was a real tongue lashing of the president right there.
So beyond the shutdown and Mattis's departure this week also included dramatic drops in the market, new pressure from investigators related to President Trump as well. All this turmoil. I mean, is it going to ultimately take a toll on the president here, or does this president like these multi-front battles?
I think to some degree he does he likes certainly being the center of attention. There's no doubt about it. The stress of the investigation certainly has worn on him. People who have talked to him, that I've talked to, say, it does wear on him. He wants this investigation to wrap up, and Mueller is certainly making progress, and the noose is certainly tightening around the Trump circle. So I don't think Mueller's going to be done in January. I think it probably goes into February or March. And remember, Democrats are going to have the House, and Nancy Pelosi, no matter what Mueller finds, is going to be under enormous pressure to move forward on impeachment. Certainly, the Trump administration / White House during the last 2 years, it's been chaotic. Yesterday, it was one of the most chaotic days that I've seen in the Trump era.
Bob Cusack. Bob, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Rita.
You bet.